Hey guys, I'm Jameson with Rogue Engineer and welcome to our new raised vegetable garden. Let me show you how it came together. So the first step in the process is going to be laying out the vegetable gardens. Now, we knew we wanted to go with two 4 feet wide by 12 foot long raised beds, and this was going to be enough space that we could plant up to about 24 plants, and that's going to be enough to feed our family over the summer. So I started by marking the vegetable gardens where we wanted them to go, leaving adequate space in between to be able to walk through them. Then we took a hose and we laid out the perimeter of the garden area that we were going to turn into stone. With all of that laid out, then we can mark it with paint to make sure that this is exactly the size and area that we wanted to kind of take over from the lawn. With that marked out, then I started to cut in that edge of the lawn, and I start with a spade shovel and then move to a flat shovel and give that nice crisp edge to the edge of the lawn, and then move that soil away from there. And then luckily enough, my father-in-law has a bobcat and I was able to finish removing the rest of the topsoil with that. Before I move on, I want to thank our sponsor for this project, Ryobi Tools. Now, they've recently come out with a 40-volt HP line of tools, and that stands for high performance. It's going to give you more power and more runtime, which is great for things like lawnmowers and string trimmers and edgers and augers. But not only that, they've come out with a 1800 watt power station, which you can use those 40-volt batteries to power anything around the house. It's also perfect for tailgating and camping out, anything that you need power but you don't want the sound of a running generator. If you want to find out more about Ryobi Tools, make sure you check out ryobitools.com. With the area cleared with the bobcat, now we can bring in some weed barrier, or lay that down rather, before we start to pour or fill in with that 6A natural stone. Before we started building the raised beds, Jamie applied a solid color stain from Behr, and the color is coffee. With the board stained and cut, we can move on to the construction process of the raised beds. We started at the high corner since our lot is sloped, and we laid that 2x12 across, or 2x10 rather, 2x10 across there. We clamped it, or we leveled it and then clamped it to a 4x4 post. We secured that and then worked our way around that first row, making sure that everything was completely level. Then we took the other 2x10 and marked the top of the 4x4s and cut those off with a reciprocating saw before installing the top row. Now on the low side of the lot, we've got a gap at the bottom, so we needed to take some 2x6s and cut those with a tapered cut to fill in that section. I also came back with some 2x4s on the inside and tied all of those boards together to add a little bit more rigidity to the planter. With the planter built, we also lined the outside of the planter with plastic, and that's going to protect the lumber as well as keep the moisture in the raised planters. Now again, we have access to a dump trailer, so I actually did leave one of the top boards off so that I was able to dump topsoil into each one of these planters. So we built this back planter first, and then we filled that with topsoil, and then we moved on to the other planter just so that we could have access to everything with the dump trailer. Now, as far as how much topsoil to use, I mean, it's a simple calculation. However, this 4 by 12 foot long bed used about 2 yards of topsoil. So 4 yards in total. So with the topsoil in, then we can move on to finishing up the irrigation. I put an elbow on the line that was coming into the box and ran a main trunk, we'll call it, down the center of each box. And then we used dripper lines, I think is what they're called, but they're a smaller, like micro line that goes out to these bubblers that are put within the box. Now, I actually installed 6 of them. However, I think 3 to 4 is good, but I have more so I can turn them on or off to make sure that all these plants are getting the water where they need it. One of the last steps in the actual garden area was we wanted to put stepping stones so that we could come out here in bare feet, coming out of the house. We're usually gonna probably be coming out here barefooted, so I didn't want to have to always walk on the rocks. So we added these stepping stones by first clearing the stone out that we had and then laying a little bit of sand under it just to level that area, and then putting those stepping stones and then filling that area back in. Now we could go to the store and get some plants. So some plants that we went with were kale and cabbage and eggplant, zucchini. We've got some hot peppers, some green and yellow peppers, and tomatoes and strawberries just to start. So I think this is going to be a good start to our vegetable garden, and I can't wait to see how well it produces with the built-in irrigation and everything over the years to come. Now, growing up, my dad always told me that the easier things were to use, the more likely you were to use them. So the fact is that we put this raised vegetable garden right off of our door to the kitchen. We also kind of somewhat automated the watering process with built-in irrigation, and we sized it down to what we need as a family. If you want the full blog post and diagrams on how to build these raised vegetable gardens, you can click on that link right there, and that's going to take you on over to the website. If you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, make sure you hit that one right there, and that will make sure that you don't miss out on any future videos. Until next time, be safe and happy building.